Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin Thornton, the wellness architect, life coach, and author. And today we have a special guest who we had last year. And we started the journey with Jarard last year, got to know who he was, um, radio personality, finance and insurance director, all those amazing things of just a complete Renaissance man, correct? And so now we just want to check in with year two just to see where he's at, what's going on, any improvements and things going on in his life. Where can I help in and checking in with him and just all that good stuff. What's up, sir? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. So before I start any questions or anything like that, the first thing I want to say to you is, since truly watching you and talking to you on the interview and checking in with you sometimes when you do live, I want you to understand that you are an amazing human being,
Wow.
but more importantly, you are a better representation of what Black men are supposed to be.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay? You're welcome. So those who follow you, especially us as men, we can take a lot from you of how we're supposed to be as a man, because you're a hard worker. You are a family man, so you really take care of your family, your moms, your grandma,
Yep.
your sisters,
Yep.
your sister, your nieces and nephews.
Yep.
So you are a true, you show us as Black men what we're supposed to do as a provider.
That's amazing. Thank you, man.
And I just want the world to understand that. So if anybody who's a single parent and they need their child to have a look of what a man's supposed to be, you are it.
Wow. That's one of the biggest, that's probably the biggest compliment I've ever received, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's been going on since the last time I talked to you?
Man, life, bro. Just me trying to consistently progress as a person, me trying to break out of some of the, I guess, mental health handcuffs that I was in, which is a constant everyday tug of war. But more importantly, man, just learning from life's experiences and, trying to not be as afraid to venture out and try new things that I'm not familiar with. Things like that, man. But everything's been progressive. I won't say everything's been great because I'd be lying, but I will say that everything's been progressive. Everything has been very influential and very educational. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
So where are we at with radio?
Good question. So I'm still on the air in Denver every day, Sunday through Friday. So I do the midday show. I call it The Vibe. And that's at KS 107.5 in Denver. So I'm on there. Not really on in Atlanta anymore for the time being. Don't know if and when that will change. Haven't really had those conversations too much, but still have nothing but love and respect for the fam over there, V, and just everybody in the Atlanta radio as a whole. I still listen to the radio in Atlanta every day, things like that, and still, support the people that are there and all that kind of stuff. I love to hear good radio, but as of right now, I'm just on in Denver. So now there's some conversations that are happening right now about me possibly going to some different markets and, being kind of simulcast in different places, but nothing has come to fruition as of yet. That's where we're at right now.
Okay. So when things like separated with you in Atlanta, how did that make you feel?
Terrible. Because I don't even think really it's separated. I think it was a situation where I think some things were just kind of happening that I don't want to say phased me out of the equation, but I think it's a mixture of things, right? So I'm over here being progressive as a corporate guy now and becoming a business owner and all that. And don't have the same level of not relationship, but the same level of, shall we say, I don't know, just being in the same realm and being in those constant conversations as I once did. And I think that, there've been some transitional things that have happened here in Atlanta, but to be clear, I have not had a real actual conversation that separated me from Atlanta radio. That conversation has not happened. Matter of fact, I got a text message a couple of days ago from a person saying, hey, we need to catch up soon. So I don't know what that really means or whatever the case is, but I have not had an official conversation that is severing me from Atlanta radio. And I'm very open to, ideas of hopefully resurfacing in Atlanta radio. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, dude. We need even though I listen to you and you're in the Denver market,
Mhm.
but it'll be great if we can have you back on in the ATL.
I would
So
love it. I would love it, man. Here's the thing, man. Like we talked about this before. The way that I feel about Atlanta as a whole, not only for the Black influence, but just the Black progress, the Black competition, the acceleration, the camaraderie, all of the things that this city brings is just amazing. And to be a part of it is something that's immeasurable. You can't put a price tag on that. I'm born and raised in Denver, Colorado. I love Denver, Colorado. To me, I tell people all the time, it's the most beautiful place on the planet. I love the way my childhood was. I love everything about home, but I live in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And for the time being, this is where I'll be living. So it would be amazing to be able to be back on the microphone in Atlanta, just to absorb the energy from the audience and to absorb the them co-signing with me and my trials and tribulations, and being able to be transparent with people and tell them about things I'm going through and hear things they're going through. That's what it's really all about. And I never felt that to the magnitude that I felt in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong, my career started in Phoenix, Arizona at Power 98.3, and it was an amazing time. Like, that city embraced me like I could never ever dream of. But I have since moved from there, so I live here now. So it's always a different feeling to get that embrace with where you are at geographically at that particular time, which
yeah.
right now for me is Atlanta. So yeah,
So you went to uh Denver not too long ago to work. You
yeah,
had like a whole weekend.
yeah.
And I saw, I think in your stories, I think that weekend was something you needed. It really lift your spirits up.
I agree.
What happened there that caused you to feel so alive or validated or whatever the situation may
I
be?
was I was once again in what I feel like my honest God-given element was. And my element is to be in front of people that embrace me for who I am as a person. And who I am as a person is the guy that you hear behind the microphone 100%. You know what I mean? And it's where I feel the most comfortable. It's where I feel the most loved. It's where I feel the most attended to. It's all of those things and all of those natural highs that you hear about a lot of
Mhm.
entertainers talk about. It's an unequivocal feeling that you have. There's nothing like it. And so to be away from it for a minute, because again, I'm on the radio in Denver, but I'm remote. So I don't get to really feel the audience the way I would like to, or the way
Mm.
I can in Atlanta, because I'm not actually there. You
Right.
understand? I'm doing the show from Atlanta. So to be able to go home to Denver for a couple of things. First of all, it's home. So
Right.
when you're on the radio in your hometown and it's a really big deal there, that's amazing. You know what I mean? But to be able to go back there, we had Summer Jam. It's a sold out show. I think it was 19,000 people there, and you just feeling the energy from all of those people that listen to you every day. And when you walk on stage, they're screaming and cheering. And it's like, oh, there he is. Because again, they don't get to see me very much. But
Right.
they saw me walk on stage with my high school letter jacket on, because that's where I'm from. And so that's a euphoria that I don't think you can't eclipse that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially when you've been removed from it for any period of time. It's almost like, when you talk to pro athletes, and it's the same type of a vibe. When you feel like you're not done with the game, but the game is done with you, it gives
Right.
you a feeling. You know what I mean? And it's a tough feeling. But any little remembrance that you get, or any little exposure that you can get back to that life, it just fills you up with like this energy, and you just can't do anything but love that and just swallow it up, man. And it was awesome to be there. It was amazing to be there. And I got to meet people that rock with me every day. I got to hug people. I got to answer people's questions and all that kind of stuff. So it really felt good, and I really needed it. I really needed that real bad.
Good. So I've always thought that I know you had a podcast with Case.
Yeah.
What happened about you just doing a podcast yourself?
So I entertained it, man. You know what the thing is, and this is being really transparent. I'm not good at the behind the scenes stuff. I'm not good at the administrative stuff
Mhm.
and the behind the scenes making things happen. Like, I have to have a team for me to make anything bubble, because all of the preparations and planning, I'm just not good at that. I'm not a good planner. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm doing so many things in
Mhm.
life. I'm trying to chase these achievements with so much tenacity that by the time the day is over, I'm like, I just want to be at home and not do nothing. I just want to be at home. I just want to go to bed. Like, I'm not good at all of the preparation stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a weekday. It's a weak spot for me. I've never been good at that. I'm good at push the button, turn the microphone on, let me go. I'm good at that. I can do
Mhm.
that, but the whole produce this and talk to these people and get a time slot and get sponsors and I'm not good at that stuff, man. And I would love to learn how to do those things, but
Mhm.
I've just never been good at that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So that's I think the biggest part of it, like even when Case and I had the kickback, that was
Mhm.
one of the issues that we had, was that Case and I are similar in that regard. Like, neither one of us are really good at doing the behind the scenes stuff, which, let's be honest, that's the most important part, is the behind the scenes stuff. Like the
Yeah.
producers and the engineers, those are the most important people in any type of broadcast type of format. Like us as talent, we have the easy job. And we're the
Mhm.
ones that get all the notoriety, which is very unfair. But that's the dynamic of how it works. But without all the people behind the scenes, none of that stuff happens. You know what I mean? And I'm just, him and I both are the same. Like, we dealt with that with the kickback. Like, we need to get some production. We need to get this. But we didn't really have anybody to really do it at that moment. Then, Case has gotten to the point where he's booked a lot now. Like, he's about to go on tour
Mhm.
next month. And he's just always working now. So it got to the point where he was always going to be gone, and so it just didn't make sense to keep going.
Yeah. Because like we really want to hear your voice. You do great on radio, but then you have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be our male version of like a Joy Reid,
Wow.
but but the male side.
Yeah. I
You
would
know,
love it. I would need people behind me that can make certain stuff happen, because that's my weak point. That's my weak place, right?
mhm.
Yeah. So
So what's next for you? Because you have so much you strive for. You want to be amazingly great in everything, but what's next for you?
right now, the focus is the journey with Jarard LLC. I started a business, a luxury transportation company, which I'm very proud of, because what I did is I purchased a custom luxury Sprinter.
Okay.
And very proud of it, because I actually designed it. Like, I picked everything out in it, and it means something to me, because not only is it a really, really big investment, but it's an attachment for me, because I can look at it, and I built it. Like, I created this,
Mhm.
and I got to pick out everything. And so, people that know me know that I'm a sucker for, I love vehicles. Like, I'm a car geek. I'm an airplane geek. Like, I love vehicles, and I get very attached to my vehicles, right?
Right.
But this one is different, because my sister is my general manager of Journey with Jarard LLC, and she's handling all the booking and all the admin stuff. And she's a godsend. Like, she's doing stuff that I didn't even know we even had to do. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying.
Mhm.
I'm thinking I can buy the Sprinter, get my LLC, get my business stuff together, and then boom, we can go. Not knowing that there's so many other things that have to be done. You got to get certain insurances and you got to get your booking stuff together. You got to get your, all your admin and all your optics together. And she's been dealing with all of that stuff, her and my nieces, and they're doing an amazing job. So we are now up for operation and up for booking as of last week, actually. My sister's still finalizing some details with the booking part of it, but we're going to own and operate this luxury Sprinter. And, we're going to keep it very exclusive in terms of the clientele. And, you want to have a Sprinter to show up to some events in, or whatever the case is. That's what we're doing it for. And I actually got the idea, funny enough, from my own experiences, because a lot of times if I'm going out somewhere, or if I got people in town and we going out somewhere, I would always rent a Sprinter, because it just makes sense. We might have a drink. We might just everybody want to be in the same vehicle, be comfortable, pull up in style, all of that stuff. And I would always rent a Sprinter. And I started realizing, man, I'm paying, $3,000-$4,000 a weekend to rent a Sprinter.
Mhm.
Right. And I'm thinking, I should try to buy one of these things, and then I can rent it out, because it seems like it's pretty profitable
Yeah.
once you get it moving around. And that's where the idea came from. And so I'm so glad that God made me able to be able to make it and make it come to fruition, because it's been a journey, no doubt about it. It's not an
Mhm.
easy thing to do. I have a whole different respect for people that do this now, but as an owner of something that I actually watched curate, and I actually watched it develop into something from an idea into
Right.
something tangible, that's really gratifying. You know what I'm saying? And then just watching my sister and the pleasure that she gets. You know, we just talked a little while ago, and she's all excited. She's calling me, okay, we got to do this. I got this done. We got this. Like, she's into it, and I think that's really cool because it's gonna be something really nice for my family to be able to do. Plus, it gets to teach my nieces how to do business. You know, my niece Larae is 21, my niece Legea is 14, and now I got them involved so they can kind of learn some business stuff, and then they can kind of take their own ideas and put it on. Legea, the youngest, she's gonna do all the social media, and so that'd be cool for her. It's a good project for her. And then Larae's gonna help out with some admin stuff and all that. So it's a good family thing for me to be able to do. Just to keep us all, you know, more in tune with each other and with success and with doing something and be able to watch it grow and keep your hands on it. So that's what I'm working on really right now for the most part. And then of course, still, you know, in finance at Mercedes-Benz of Atlanta South, and still trying to help grow that institution as well, which is going really well. Shouts out to our general manager, Chris Atkins, and Justin Stevens, our general sales manager. Just they've put together this dynamic team that has these phenomenal goals that we are trying to achieve. And I'm just glad to be a part of that too, you know, so.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot of amazing things, but I want to stop and just show you again why I said what I said when I first started the show. You know, you are creating a great thing for yourself, but you're not only thinking about yourself, you're thinking about your family as well. So you're creating a legacy
Yeah.
that you could pass down through your family, and you're being you and your sister are able to teach her kids, you know, the art of being responsible, being an entrepreneur,
Yep.
and you know, making that money themselves. And so that's an amazing thing because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. So,
Yeah.
so for you to see outside of you and say, how can I make not just me but my family greater? That's just the epitome of why I said what I said to you in the first place.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way, but I see what you're saying, and I appreciate it because that's really what it's about. Like, I wanted to find a way to get them involved in something that is progressive, but that's also rewarding, you know, because I feel like it's important. I feel like, you know, I don't have my own children, you know what I mean, and you know, but my nieces and nephews, like I look at them like those are my babies, you know what I mean, and I'm
Mhm.
watching the world and the surroundings that children are growing up in now, and really it scares the hell out of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the fact that a lot of kids don't have no real direction,
Mhm.
definitely don't have any humility, you know, and a lot of them don't have much work ethic. It's
Right.
it's it's hard to watch because you know you watch how some of these kids act in schools and how they act outside and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you know, I'm looking at my nieces and nephew like, yeah, that's not going to be them if I can help it. You know what I mean? If
Right.
I can at all be any type of influence, I want to influence them to want to achieve things. You
Right.
know, I'm addicted to achievement. I've always been that way, and sometimes it's to my detriment. You know, it is because
Mhm.
there are a lot of things that a lot of decisions I might make that might not be the best for myself as a whole because I'm so focused on, you know, achieving this, and then when you achieve that, let's get the next thing. And sometimes I forget to live life, as people say,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But I'm starting to kind of learn and try to do better at that, but it's a process, right?
Mhm.
But for them, you know, I want them to be able to say, okay, this is what it looks like to grow and develop something into a successful entity, you know, and because I don't feel like a lot of children have that right now. And it's because all they're looking at is social media and who
Yeah.
got the biggest booty and all that stuff. And it's just like, nah, there's more to this than that. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to have something to be able to let them be a part of and then let them take over and grow, you know, and hopefully this is it.
One of the things I always say to clients and everything like that is my belief is what you see is what you be.
Mm,
So, uh, for your nieces and your nephew, you know, they see their mom and they see you.
mm-hmm,
I know you have a brother as well. So they
mm-hmm,
see three great human beings doing hard work
mm-hmm.
and, you know, and striving for success. They see your lifestyle and they be like, okay, I can have that lifestyle and don't have to be a entertainer or an athlete. I could be that and still live the lifestyle that I want to live. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And them seeing that, give them the opportunity to let them know what they can be. You know, a lot of times, a lot of these kids now don't have that same fortunate of having somebody they can see, to give them the hope they could be something different than outside of entertainment and sports. So once again, it's kudos to you and your whole entire family, doing so well and being that support system for them, so they have a great representation of what's possible for them.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's as much as it all falls back down to y'all, because y'all are doing it, and then when you see it on social media, I think you don't understand too is watching y'all is like seeing what family's supposed to be. The excitement when we saw you as y'all counted down your grandma's. She probably 101 now, but when she was turning 100,
Yeah,
the excitement that you all had for her,
yeah,
for turning 100, the excitement that you have just to see your nieces and nephews and your sister, and your mom, a lot of people don't have that. So they living their life through you and say, okay, this is what I'm missing, what I need, or what I need to create for my family.
yeah, yeah.
Because the tight knit family relationships y'all have is something that we as a culture really need to get back into.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yep.
So, where are you at in your journey with mental health?
Um, it depends on what day you ask, right?
Okay.
What I will say though is that it's definitely better. You know, what I mean, I'm getting better. I still have, my days that are not as good as others. I still have my days that are filled with doubt and disappointment and disparages and all of those things.
Mhm.
But I'm learning that my overall vision has become more optimistic and more strengthening. I learned that, I've had some really good conversations with my older brother lately, which
Mhm.
has helped me tremendously. I didn't know how much I needed for him to seed into me the way he has until he did. Right.
Mhm.
Um, I think a lot of it also too has to do with I had to some of the things that you have told me they stick with me, right? Like,
Mhm.
I remember, you told me something to the effect of that, I see myself differently than other people see me. And that kind of stuck because I was like, every time I started to get into a rut of feeling like unimportant or feeling, looked over or expect like even in radio, like, that's been tough for me to deal with. The
Right.
Atlanta part of it's been tough because you hear people tell you, man, you awesome when you on there, like
Mhm.
but you're not getting the attention or the any of the things that you feel like are supposed to come with that, and you're getting overlooked and all that, and that's affected me. But overall, I think that I'm getting better, and I'm okay with that because I know it's not an overnight type of thing. Like
Right.
this is a real journey, and one of the things I pride myself in, and this also came from you, is my ability to be transparent enough to put my vulnerabilities out there for other people that might feel like I feel, but won't say it. Because
Right.
I feel like we got to know that it's okay to doubt yourself. It's okay to not be sure of yourself in certain capacities, depending on what you're seeing. Like, that's okay as long as you're trying to find a way to get by it or overcome it or whatever the case is. And that's helped me a lot, man. Like, I'll sit in the house sometimes. Here's the thing, I'm kind of a nomad, so I'm by myself all the
Mhm.
time, which is a gift and a curse because it keeps me away from drama, but it also keeps me away from like being loved on and like, being lifted up a lot and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So sometimes you rest in your doubts and in your sauce, shall we say.
Mhm.
And that happens to me sometimes, but I find ways to kind of pull myself out of it. Lately I've started to catch it a little bit quicker.
Right.
Like oh, we're not going there. Let me get up and do something, or let me, go outside, or let me go drive around, or whatever the case, whatever works
Right.
at that moment. It's always something that's got something to do with music that keeps me together. You know what I mean? Like, I can just sit and vibe and listen to music or watch Intergalactic or something like that that just kind of will bring me back to the surface.
Mhm.
But I will say that overall, I think I'm doing better in the sense that I'm recognizing the pitfalls before they happen now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that gives me confidence that, hey, I'm on the right path. You know what I mean? I'm on the right path. Do I still doubt myself? Do I still feel like sometimes I'm subpar? Sure, I definitely feel
Mhm.
like that a lot of times. But do I also sometimes now feel like there's a lot of green grass over the horizon? Yeah. Do I feel like there is a pot of gold over the rainbow? Yeah, I'm starting to believe that now. Like all of this stuff is not for naught. All of this effort and all of this, just disappointment and all this, there's a reason for it. You know what I mean? And I'm becoming more and more convinced of that every day.
Okay. So that was a lot for me to impact. So what I must do is start off by saying this first. Another reason why outside be saying we're gonna follow the journey with Jarard was also the fact that a lot of people did watch the video of you and I. And your transparency did speak to a lot of people.
Good.
And so people will come to me every now and then, that's my friends or whatever, say, what's up with Jarard J? And I say, X, Y, and Z, he doing this X, Y, and Z. And so, and they said, I really want to hear what's next with him, what's going on, because he helped me a lot.
Wow.
Based on his transparency.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that to you first. Secondly, you are the typical male that we are, especially who are driven. We're harder on ourselves than we're supposed to be.
Right.
And so then therefore, things not going the way we see it, we hard on ourselves, but then we have done so much, but we don't see it because all we see is what we did not accomplish.
Right.
And so for you, what I've been asking you to do is just to give yourself some grace and be grateful for where you're at right now, because you have accomplished a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I know you want more, but the universe wants you to be okay. Before I give you more, can you start to believe or just be grateful for what you have achieved so far?
Right. And that's a struggle. But here's the thing. The reason I feel good about it is because it's a struggle that I have identified with. I know that it's a struggle, right? A year ago, I couldn't really identify that that's what the struggle was because I didn't see anything wrong with that. But now it's like, wait a minute, you do have to pull back for a second and say, wait, I have been able to do this, and this. Maybe haven't got this, and that, but I have been able to do and accomplish this, and this. And I need to be grateful for God for allowing me to be able to do that. I need to be thankful for the sacrifices that I have made that have brought me those levels of achievement. And those are things that I'm working on now. Like, I was talking to my grandmother, and my grandmother told me, Jarard, you need to be celebrating the things that you're doing, celebrating your wins. All you do is focus on what you want to do and haven't been able to do, but you're not focusing on the beautiful things that you have done. Absolutely. And I'm like, damn, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so I did start to kind of curve myself a little bit and say, wait a second, let's do this. Like the Sprinter, for example, is something that I've sat back. I just got it home last week, and I sat back and look at it and say, I did that, and it wasn't easy to do that. And little other things I've done for the family and all that, and for myself. I'm starting to know how important it is for me to stop down for a moment and say, we accomplished this. This is good. You know what I mean? Now, granted, definitely a work in progress, right? Because those moments are few and far between, but at least they're not non-existent like they once were.
So like when you posted the Sprinter, and I think I saw it on LinkedIn, I was like, congratulations. And I was going to say at that time, allow yourself to sit in this.
Yeah.
Because this is major.
Yeah.
This ain't no small feat. Anybody can't just do what you just did.
Right.
And so I want you, if anything, sit in it and allow yourself to be proud of what you have accomplished.
Yeah.
Because not only you just bought it, but you have created.
Yeah.
This is your vision. This is what you created to be for yourself.
Yeah.
And then from there, now you're able to use this product to help you and your family go to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to celebrate that, because now you not only did something great for yourself, you did something great for your family.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
And
so I'm a firm believer that when he has connect, because I'm on assignment with you.
Mm-hmm.
You are one of his soldiers that he relies on, loves, because of who you are, the voice. And so we gotta make sure you are good so you could continue doing what you're doing for the world. And
Yeah, appreciate it.
so and so when we had our first interview and you said, can we stay connected? I was like, sure.
Yep.
And I was like, sure. And so I'll periodically check in, like, hey boss, what's going on?
Yep.
How you doing? Or if I see some spiritual, or if I'm watching your posts and stuff like that, if I see something that's not resting with me very good, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, you do, and I appreciate you for that. Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, he ain't feeling right. So let me validate him right quick. And so
Yeah.
because you said something that about your brother, and what you probably don't really thought you probably didn't need was your dad died, if I remember correctly, when you was 9.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So your brother's the oldest figure right now. So your brother was like the replacement of your dad.
Correct. Absolutely right.
So what you needed from your brother, outside of him being your brother, was like him, without knowing, stepping into that father figure role to validate you.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Because you needed that validation.
I do. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so when you reached out to me and said, can we stay connected? I also understand part of that for me is to make sure I validate you, because that's something that you need to help you stay reassured of who you are and whose you are.
Yes.
So that's why I always let you know how great you are.
And I appreciate you for that. Yeah, and you're exactly right. That is something that I need drastically, and I always have been that way. And I think a lot of that has to do with exactly what you're saying. Losing my dad and
Mhm.
making the promises to him that I made, and now when I look at my brother, like, it's funny because the majority of the stuff that I be doing, the one person that I care about whether or not they think it's a good thing or they're proud of me is my brother. And I actually told him that, and it almost brought him to tears because I don't think my brother really knew to what capacity I needed that from him. You know what I mean? He was always under the impression, oh, Jarard's good. He's doing his thing. I'm proud of him. He knows it. Like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? But when we had a real conversation the last time he was in town, like, I kind of broke down about it, like, really heavily. And I explained it to him, like, listen, over the course of this development of me as a man, I needed to know that you were looking at me and with the thumbs up, like, you're doing your thing and you're doing it well. I needed to know that, you know what I mean? And he made me understand. He always felt that way. We just didn't all the time have the conversations for me to know that he felt that way. And
Mhm.
so now we talk way more now. It's
Mhm.
the way he's seeding into. When I was at home in Colorado for summer jam, I got to spend some time with him and with the church with him and all that. And we just really got to really bond, because
Right.
my brother is 16 years older than I am, right?
Right.
So he's got his own family and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like he was absent for just because he
Mhm.
wanted to be. It's just we're living in two different states, two different lives, and you don't talk to a person every day. But
Right.
see, what was happening with me was I was dealing with all this disappointment. I was dealing with all this unsurety. I was dealing with all these self-esteem issues, and I didn't really have no place to unload them because I didn't want nobody to be a part of that part of me, because I didn't want to bog nobody else down with my woe is me stories and all of that type of stuff. I just felt like, I'm a peer strong. My mom and my grandma rely on me. My sister rely on me. They need me to be strong. So I don't really need to be unloading that kind of stuff. But the one person I could have done that with was him. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so since we have connected to a different level, I've been able to do that. And I found a different level of strength in being able to hear the things that he says to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because that's where that real validation has to come from. You know what I mean? For me. So
Right. And people don't understand when a young man loses their father for whatever reason, whether he's not there presently because he's not there, or in your case, your father passed away.
yeah,
You know, it's a void that can't be, that can't be replaced, because now at 9 years old, who's going to teach you how to be a man?
right, right.
And so, that person unspokenly was your brother.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's 16 years older than you, so he was 25 and you
Yeah.
was 9. So
Yeah.
then therefore he was the one that you looked up to, but it was not a um, something that was vocalized, pretty
Right.
much to say.
Right.
So I think if you probably would have vocalized it a little bit sooner, he probably would have known what you needed from him.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. That I fought myself for that because the minute that I told him where how I was feeling, he jumped right into action. It was no hesitation. Matter of fact, he kind of felt I think he felt a certain way that it had taken this long for me to vocalize that to him. You know what I mean? I think because I think he in his mind he was like, man, I could have been influencing him long time ago with this stuff. I didn't know my little brother was going through all of this. You know what I mean? But he wasn't. There was no way he could know because
Right,
I'm living in a whole across the country from you. You know what I mean? So there's no way that you could have known that. You know,
right,
and I told him that I'm like, bro, you can't blame yourself. It's my fault because I didn't really tell you all this stuff because I did not know where to unload this baggage that I was dealing with mentally. Because quite frankly, it all compiled on me kind of abruptly. Like it's like, oh wait a minute, what is this? Like I'm used to being, the confident guy, and I was doing pretty decent, and then all of a sudden some things in life happen, and it's like, wait a second, now I'm out here on this island. I feel ostracized. I feel alienated. I feel
hmm,
overlooked. All of the adjectives you could think of, right?
hmm,
But didn't have nowhere to really unload it at. And so when I was able to do that, it all came like a tsunami, obviously, because everything is bottled up. So it
right,
all came like, hey, I'm dealing with this, and this. I need this, and this. And we both sat in my house and just like looked at each other like, oh my God. Like, and to him, my brother is he's so well put together that he can fix stuff like instantly.
hmm,
He has this thing where he knows what to say, when to say it, how to say it. He knows how to do it. So it's something that, yeah, you look at it and say, dang, all these years have passed by. And it's not that we weren't talking. Again,
right,
we just living different lives, right?
right,
So we would talk like maybe once a month or something like that. Hey, how you been? How's the family? Little stuff like that.
hmm.
But the intuitive conversations that I needed, that I really didn't know that I needed, those are what ended up being, kind of the form all for me. And I've just started to get that from him recently. Once I told him that that's what I needed.
So
You know,
my question to you is, what took you so long to figure that out that you needed that from your brother?
I think it's a mixture of me being stubborn,
Hmm,
also me not believing it myself
hmm,
because I had the belief of, I'll be okay. Like this is only a season. I'll figure this out. I'll always figure it out.
hmm,
I don't want to appear weak in front of nobody because I just don't want that stigma. I want everybody to feel like I'm taking care of it. I'm okay. I'm all that. And so I think it was a combination of all those things. Plus, I didn't want to feel like I was disappointing him or anybody else. I didn't want
okay,
to feel like I was coming to somebody in a weak place because that's not how my family rolls. You know what
okay,
I'm saying? And so, my mother, man, is like the biggest pillar of strength I've ever seen in life. Like she's amazing, but there's certain stuff I can't tell my mama because she's my mama. You know
right,
what I'm saying? And so I just think it was a mixture of all of the above, just me not being able to internalize the ability to be able to ask for what it really was that I needed because I didn't know myself what I needed.
hmm.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I get with you. So, because I think I caught it towards the tail end, and you was not good. And that's when I reached out to you, and
Yeah.
you were like, and I so, and I can't fuss at you. I can because I asked because we connected for that reason,
Absolutely.
and so you know I'm never gonna judge you, and you're gonna always be the amazing human being that I see. But I want to be able to be. I feel God put us together so I can be that help for you,
Yeah, for sure.
but I can't help you if you're not going to talk to us.
Exactly. And that's where, and I get that now. I get that now because ashamed about it anymore. I don't feel like it's something I need to hide anymore. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm a human being. I'm going through stuff that human beings go through. You know, I'm going through dissatisfaction of this, or, you know, being disappointed by that, or not being able to achieve that, or how come they didn't choose me for that? You know, I'm the worst at all that. You know what I mean? But I also know now that it's okay for me to have those conversations, and it's okay for me to employ people, to certain people, to seed into me to help me through that, as opposed to me feeling like I'm bugging people by bringing them into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because what I want to say to you too is thank you because you helped me narrow my niche down of what I wanted to focus on, and it's guys like you who are corporate people doing amazing things, but are super independent.
Yeah.
They're used to being the boss. They in control, and so they're used to doing everything themselves.
Yeah.
But yet they have a lot of stuff going on personally
Yeah.
they can't keep under control because they it's bigger than them.
Yeah.
And so, but they're too stubborn to talk it through
Yes.
to the people that might be closest to them. So if they come to somebody like a me, then who don't really know them like that, they could probably feel better about themselves and not feeling like somebody's going to judge them. So
Right.
you helped me figure out, okay, these are my core group of guys that I want to focus on because they really need it. Because I think you already great what you do. If we could hone in the other stuff that hurt that bothers you, all it's going to do is make you better at everything that you do.
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
So,
Work
you
in
know,
progress. Every work in progress.
yeah, sir. So what I need from you is when you start to go through stuff, reach out
Okay. I will do that. 100%.
because like I said, we need you. You the voice of our generation. Though for those who know you, for especially here in Atlanta, and so we need you to be 100% because we know it's something greater coming for you later that he's working on you right now. So when that time comes, you're ready to receive it and do great things for it.
I received that 100%. And I appreciate you for that, brother.
Yes, sir. My last thing I want to say to you too is um, something's going to happen for you in communications. Um, what he's teaching you now is you don't have complete control.
Right. Right.
You have to understand it's going to be you and him as co-creators of what this masterpiece is about to be. And so, it may be something to where you can stay in Atlanta, but your voice is going to reach more people, including Atlanta, but it's going to be something bigger than what you probably thought you want to do.
Man, I received that. I received all of that, sir.
And, and I just think he just needed you to get out your own way. And so, okay, let me pull him away for a little bit from Atlanta. And in that, let me work on healing him. So then whoever's next for you can come and you be um, the amazing superstar that you're going to be.
Man, I received every single piece of that, and I appreciate you for that, man. That means a lot more than I can articulate, actually.
Thank you. So uh, I want you to give a final word to the listeners um, that they could take away from you.
Man, let me say this. I'll say learning that your growth is imminent is a great thing. It's uncomfortable, it's sometimes disheartening, and you don't necessarily know what it looks like. But the minute that you learn that your growth is imminent, whether you want to grow or not, everything all of a sudden starts to become a little bit more smooth. And as men living in, especially as Black men living in today's world, it's very easy for us to lose sight of what it's really all supposed to be about. And what it's all supposed to be about is you extracting lessons from all of your experiences and understanding that there is no such thing as a loss, because everything you go through and deal with, as long as you can extract a lesson from that, it was not a loss.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I really had to come to grips with. And ever since I have, it's helped me tremendously. Everything that you deal with, whether it's a positive or a negative, there is a lesson embedded within that experience.
Right.
But the hard part is that it's our choice to make the decision to extract whatever that lesson is. Because the easy thing to do is not worry about the lesson and then just feel the heartbreak and the sob story.
Yeah.
The hard thing to do is be optimistic about whatever is happening to you and understand that somewhere within that situation is a lesson that you are meant to extract and absorb.
Right. Very well said, because that's very true. And so when things not going right with me, I say, okay, what's the lesson I need to learn?
Yeah.
And because if I don't learn the lesson, I'm going to repeat it again.
Correct.
So let me learn the lessons so I can move forward. Because once I learn the lesson, there's something better waiting on me on the other side of that. So what you just said was spot on, sir. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you, everything you're doing, everything you're accomplishing. You, once again, is showing the world what it is to be a Black man.
Thank you, man. And thank you for your influence, man, your leadership. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. But don't forget, if you're going through something, please holler.
Done. You have my promise, so you have my word on that.
All right. Have a good day, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Peace.
All right, later on.